All right. Welcome back, guys. This is Coach Joe. I am the host of Joe Bala Fitness Podcast. I have my next guest on. My next guest is a great friend of mine. I met through the Spartan and DEKA community. She is a fellow Spartan SGX coach. She's also a DEKA coach. She is also a Hyrox Level 1 coach. She's coach of everything, as far as I know. She's a previous guest. Her name is Pipia. Her background from the previous interview, she's an Army Master fitness trainer. She mentioned something in her bio about trauma-informed weightlifting certification, which I'd love to dig into a little bit. She has served in the military, her military career, Army National Guard, 10 years, and then deployed to Afghanistan. Thank you for your service, Tara. And then a life coach. She is a PhD in Transpersonal Psychology. I asked her if I can call her doctor, but I will not call her doctor because we were really good friends. So I'm just going to call her Tara. Anyone else, feel free to call her, if you like, Dr. Pipia. All right. She is a life coach. I mentioned she is a personal trainer, and she's also an adjunct professor at Sofia University in Palo Alto. Hopefully I said that correctly. In terms of being an athlete, Tara is one of my inspirations. I'm a 47-year-old age group athlete. I'm trying to get to her level, but you know, life happens and things happen and you got to make a living. But she's doing some amazing things in the athletic world, from DEKA world champs to Hyrox, Spartan race, which I don't know if she's still doing Spartan race at this time, but Hyrox DEKA is her focus. She's also focusing on DEKA Ruck, which I had Bryce Johnson on, who talked about rucking, and also Mike, I forgot the name. The other guest I had on regarding rucking, Mark Jones. Mark Jones, yes, you know Mark Jones. So both talked about rucking, and so DEKA rucking involves having a pack on your back, doing a DEKA, and if you have been listening and watching up to this point, DEKA by itself is pretty tough, and these athletes like Tara and others are making it even tougher and more challenging, and showing us what we are capable of physically and mentally and all of the above. So she's an inspiration for me, and I hope that you enjoy hearing more about her story. That's why I wanted to bring her back on. Tara, say hello to the audience.
Hello, audience. And Joe, thanks for having me. And you are a very good friend of mine, and you also inspire me. I just want to say that. And we are at the same level. We all are, right? We're all a community. So we all just express it in different ways. It's just I sign up for everything. So the odds are that I'm going to do well at something if I'm always racing. So, and I know your time is limited. So I am inspired by you as well. But thanks again for having me.
I appreciate you, Tara. Thank you so much. Yeah, I at some point I'm gonna get out there and race even more, as much as Tara does and everyone else that I have befriended in this space. But right now I gotta make a living and pay for my daughter's college and help raise her until she's on her own fully. So so I brought Tara on because I wanted to chat about what's transpired for her since I had her on the first time. So first time we talked about her background through the military, her father's story and how much he meant to her, which we definitely connect on a deep level, because her father passed away and my father passed away, and the relationship we both had with our fathers was very, very tight, and what carries us and what propels us and what drives us, right? And so this time on this episode, we want to chat more about, again, what transpired since, that last episode. Tara has earned a PhD in transpersonal psychology, which I remember you telling me about when we reconnected. Let me see. I forgot what month that was, but I think it was 2024. As I personally have shared this, I battled depression and anxiety. So when my last depression, anxiety episode, was cleared or mostly cleared, I was able to reconnect with my great friends like Tara and everyone else in the community. Everyone wondered where I was, and obviously those that know, they know that's where I go when I end up, in that state. And so Tara and I were talking about her PhD, and then now she's employed. When you and this is something I want to ask you, adjunct professor. Could you explain what that means to the audience? Like, what is an adjunct professor? And then tell us a little bit about what you do at Sofia University.
Okay, so adjunct is a part-time, like you're not on a contract or a full-time employee. So every quarter I sign a new contract and I can choose how many classes I want to teach, because you're talking about like being able to train and race. I have a lot of flexibility with that. So I can say, no, the world championships are coming up, like this quarter, I only want to teach one class. So there's a lot of flexibility with being an adjunct. A lot of people, strive to be full-time faculty, but I'm very happy with what I have there. And I teach in the MBA program, but it's all psychology and leadership based. So it's right up my alley. Sofia University is a transpersonal college. You mentioned that earlier. It's basically the study of the mind, body, spirit. It's transcending the self, like higher wisdom beyond the consciousness. Like we could go on forever about these things that are hard to define, right? But it's very, very open-minded, and it's beyond leadership. It's we teach our students to discover who they are, so that when they go into the leadership field, they can lead from, I guess, the soul, right? From who you really are, not just some role you play. Like in the military, it's sort of a defined way that you are, and you behave this way, and you all match and wear your uniform. And, this is quite the opposite, right? Not that you can't do that, but it's more about who you are in the business world. So I absolutely love it. And I'm grateful that and that's the school I graduated from. So it's perfect. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that you define, you talk about leadership, right? And so I'm big on, trying to serve others as best I can and being a leader, especially like, I think I posted on my Instagram the other day, or maybe this was earlier this morning. I hit my 9-year mark as a trainer coach, leaving engineering and then transitioning to becoming a trainer coach and pursuing becoming an age group athlete to fill my time. And so that was a huge transition for me to make that change. And so now I'm very big in focusing on being a leader for junior coaches, and that I'm helping develop, so I have 2 coaches now on my team. I'll shout them out, Coach PJ and Coach Dylan. Coach PJ was on one of my episodes just recently. I think it was during Halloween. So we were both wearing Halloween outfits. Coach Dylan is going to be on next at some point soon. But yeah, I am trying to serve as a leader for them. And so how could a coach or a trainer, or I guess someone in general, benefit by attending or taking classes from Sofia University or something similar if they can't attend that?
Yeah, something similar for sure. A life coaching program in general. So say they offer that as well. Sofia University, it's part of their master's program. But again, wherever you decide to go, what we teach is that, you discover who you are first. So how can you lead from the outside in? It doesn't work that way. A lot of our society, I think we're grown to like look to the outside. I want to be that. I want to do that. And sometimes we raise our kids that way. I mean, I have 2 dogs, but we tend to say, oh, you're good at math, you should be an engineer. And we sort of push our society into what we think they might not even want to be an engineer, but you just see some talent in them that maybe doesn't resonate. Maybe they want to be an artist. So the big part of this program, and I think in any sort of leadership program, should be, who are you first? Like, who are you? Not who did your parents tell you are, who you should be. Who does your wife tell you should be? Like, we all play these roles, right, to get through life. Shakespeare says all the world's a stage, right? And we're just actors. So that's what life is, unfortunately. But we can come back to who we are if we just take that time and go inward. And you mentioned like your struggle with depression and anxiety. I think that's very much a human condition that gets a label as not a great thing. But sometimes that's a sign of just us being out of alignment. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad name. It says, okay, I have to pay attention here, which is what you did. You went inward and said, wait, something's not right. I'm not functioning in alignment with something in my life. And to me, you need to do that and lead yourself before you can lead anyone else.
Love that. I've never thought of it that way. That's very like eye-opening for me. So thank you for sharing that. You know, I definitely, at some point, like when I first opened up about my depression, anxiety, like I felt like, oh God, everyone's going to judge me. I'm going to be embarrassed by it. And I'm, you know, as I've gone through my own journey, not being like, I've worked with, you know, therapists and professionals in the mental health space. And I think out of talking, you know, learning about it, like the way you put it, I've never heard it put that way. And that just like opened up my mind. There's all this stuff going on in my head now that are firing. So I'm gonna be mindful of that more and like dig into it more, because I appreciate that. Thank you, Tara. Wow, I love it. Let's end the podcast there. We're good.
Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
So I want to transition into what this you mentioned leadership, but also life coach. So I remember at some point you were getting certified in that, and I was one of your I don't know if I want to say guinea pigs, but I was one of the people that you tested, you know, your skills on, because you're learning at that point, and you're like, hey Joe, are you available to, you know, talk about it? And I remember clearly, like we were talking about me moving from NorCal to SoCal at the time, and I was sitting, I can't remember where I was. I think I was at a hotel. I was waiting to host a DEKA roadshow in San Diego. So I was very close to where I live now, which is in Orange County, which is so weird to me. Like I'm now thinking back, like, okay, that is insane. And I remember you know, asking me questions that kind of put my life, my situation in perspective. Like, how or what am I going to do in terms of like the moving part, the process, but also like thinking in terms of life and being open to like this change, and how can it benefit my family? How can it benefit me personally? How can it benefit my career? Could you dig into what the ICF certified leadership life coach, you know, role that you do, and how do you implement it now with your clients or, you know, students that you coach?
That's a good question. So the ICF is the governing body of like the ethical board to make sure you're following standards. So not all life coaching programs fall under the ICF. Sort of like you know, like High Rocks. You said you're well, I have the High Rocks level 1, but we talked earlier that you were going to go through that program. So it has like a reputation, right? You're not just like, oh, I'm a coach, I'm a group coach. You know, there's a little bit of respect behind the High Rocks name and the DEKA name, of course, Spartan. So the ICF is the governing body. And I went through Sofia University. It was embedded in their master's program. So I didn't have to get the whole entire master's. I could pull just the life coaching portion out of that and take those classes. And it's accredited by the ICF. So the way I apply that is, and we talked earlier too, before we started, about personal training, how a lot of people come to us for something much deeper than moving the body. It's a subconscious thing a lot of times, because if it was conscious, you probably wouldn't hire a personal trainer. You'd go to a therapist or a counselor or a life coach. But I think we all need a little bit something more out of our lives. Like, then that's why we hire a coach, right? Just those like, I had an experience at the World Championships this year, and I kept replaying it in my head. If I had a coach standing right next to me, just saying the right things while I was doing my burpees, I could have shaved X number of seconds off of my burpees. I can't do that by myself because I'm in my head. And we all do that through life. We're in our head. We're in the move that we have to make because our daughter's going to school, or, you know, I'm moving as well right now. Like, we just get wrapped up. And to me, life coaching skills helps pull the person out of themselves and gives an objective sort of perspective, kind of like what I shed to you on depression. It's actually a gift. It shows that you can feel and you're sensitive. And there's so many other ways to look at it, but we can't do that unless we're reflecting off someone like a coach. So I know it's sort of a vague answer, but I coach the body along with the mind. In fact, the mind comes first. Like if I can't connect with you on the human level and then on the intellectual and emotional level, like all those things, and you don't trust me with the way you're talking to yourself, then I can't change the way you talk to yourself. And you need to change the way you talk to yourself in order to perform. We're talking about physical training at the moment. So if you have this doubt, like I'm afraid of the monkey bars, I fell when I was 4 years old and I broke my ankle. Like I've had clients like that. They have the physical ability, but they're just so afraid. I had a girl that she would shake literally on the monkey bars, just climbing up to get to the first one. She's shaking on the way up. So I would say, are you shaking? Are you cold? Or, are you fatigued from what we did earlier? Or are you scared? And she said, I'm scared. And we talk about it. What are you afraid of? If there's a mat under there. And I never, ever push someone to do something that they're not ready to do. If I would have pushed her to grab the first bar and go to the second, she might actually break her ankle because in her head, she's telling herself that. So I try to work with where the person is and never tell them to go beyond where they're ready to go at that moment. And if you walk the walk with them and meet the person where they are, and that goes for any job in life or being a parent, even if you meet your kid where they are, they trust you. And that's number one. I don't care how good of a coach you are, how many podiums you have, how much money you win. If you're elite, if you're a world champion, it doesn't make you a coach. What makes you a coach is your ability to connect and understand the person. And I think life coaching really, of all things, the military helped me as well. But that life coaching program made me a better person, better friend, better coach for sure.
Love
That's
that.
a long answer.
No, I appreciate that. A lot of people can definitely learn from that. I think, both of us are personal trainers, and going through, one-on-one sessions, like you mentioned, it's not just physical, it's not just teaching movements, it's actually connecting, that key word there, connect, to their mind, and then enlighten them to what is possible for them. And sometimes that barrier is here in the head, right? And like, both of us do Spartan race, and I teach Spartan obstacle specialist workshops where I can take students in a gym and like coach them up on Spartan obstacles, but I can go to the, race venue and take them up the mountain and we can tackle the obstacles there too. So a lot of it is, this piece of, or this kind of internal barrier, like a wall, an obstacle. I always refer to that when I talk to my clients, especially if they are interested in Spartan. Like I say obstacle because they know, they're like, okay, I connected that. And so helping them break or shift their view, like even though there's a roadblock or obstacle there's a way over it or there's a way around it, and I try to get them to shift and look at it from different like viewpoints, because once they do that, they're like, oh my God, that monkey bar wasn't as hard as it seemed like originally, or that 8-foot wall isn't as high as I thought it was going to be, or that 16-foot rope climb is not as bad as it sounds, so or looks, right? So breaking things down like that is a big thing that I do personally, and I feel like you are the same in that way as well. And so I love that you're a life coach, because at some point, being a personal trainer, I want to transition into like health coaching or life coaching, or not transition, but more like add that to what I do. So I definitely will pick your brain at some point when I'm ready to dig into that. But
I think you'd be great at it, and you're already doing it.
Oh,
you just
yeah.
didn't go through the program. You're doing it already. You're naturally like that. So I think you would excel for sure. It would just add to your toolbox, because I know you already have that skill.
Yeah, I feel like I've somehow developed it naturally. I think part of it is just having a big heart, like being very empathetic towards everyone, and that allows me to kind of absorb information and give it to clients or anyone that I coach. So in your opinion, do you feel like personal trainers can benefit from going the route of adding life coaching or health coaching or any other kind of coaching cert, or even pursuing a master's or a PhD like you have? What do you feel? How do you feel that would benefit a personal trainer?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary, like especially the PhD. It's not necessary. I just happened to be grateful in the military, helped fund it for me, and it was COVID. And I loved it. Like, I know you had mentioned you have your master's degree and like a PhD. I don't know, maybe one day that's kind of hard. I don't know if I could do that. You can absolutely do that if you love what you're studying. If you told me to get a PhD in engineering, I know you used to be an engineer, I'd probably drop out after 3 classes. There's no, or three sessions of 1 class.
Yeah.
I'd be done. Like, there's just no way I could do that. So I picked something that I aligned with. And it was a breeze. I actually enjoyed that more than any master's class I've ever taken in my life, or any bachelor's of anything, because I already knew who I was and what I wanted to do. So, but if we talk about education in general, beyond the body, absolutely, because it's not the body we're talking about most of the time. Because if I'm already, say, at a world championship event, or you're already there, you still need a coach. Because there's more in you. There's more. And if you're already this physical specimen, like, then what's your coach for? I don't need you. I already showed up. Look, I made it. I qualified for the worlds, or I qualified for this track meet. You need your coach because they see something in you that you can't see, or they can pull something out. You ever, like, even running a Spartan race, like you said, like climbing the hill or what have you. Do you ever have a friend just show up next to you, be like, hey, what's up, man? All of a sudden you start running together. And you thought you're on a hill, or at least you can like complain about it together and it goes a little bit faster.
Yeah.
I've been so much more in my life because of other people than I ever could be by myself. Sometimes I forget that because we all have ego, and I think I'm independent. So people call me like extra, and like, you never ask for help. Like, I'd rather not. But if I'm honest with myself, the best things I've ever done were because of other people with me. We're not in this world alone. We're not on an island. We're here together. And people are always like, oh, you're born alone and you die alone. Well, like, hopefully not. Like, I think I was born in a hospital. I'm pretty sure my mom was there. So, right. I mean, we need each other. So I think any sort of addition to coaching that deals with the mind, body, spirit, anything can help. Even, I don't even like family. Like, sometimes I've had clients where they just came to me and like within 2 minutes started crying because something happened on their way there with their husband or wife or something. And I've sat in a stairwell and listened to someone cry for like the first 20, 30 minutes of a session and let them cry. What am I going to say? Go get on the dang monkey bars. Like, that's not what it's about. Like, if you really are, you're empathetic too, and so am I. Like, we need those other skills if we're going to be a really well-rounded personal trainer.
Love that. Thank you for backing that. I appreciate it. I wanted to highlight your coaching. Like, you've been coaching now for how many years in total? Like
full time since, like, in California since 2018, and I started to like do Spartan coaching and what have you in 2016 back in New York. But it really, I would say from 2018 when I came to California, it just took, like, this is where I belong. So that's when it really took off here.
And so in that time, you started coaching personal training clients, but then focused on Spartan race athletes initially, or anyone interested in that. Then you got into eventually DEKA, right? And now likely High Rocks athletes, right? Or because it's blowing up. DEKA, I feel like is on par. I'm biased towards Spartan because we were both Spartan coaches. So, it's still similar, but not the same, in that High Rocks is obviously more of an endurance, focused race, where DEKA gives you a little bit more variety. So in terms of anyone that's interested in working with you, being coached by you, how would they connect with you, and how would they reach out to you?
Well, sometimes I'm sure you get the SGX Spartan emails from people because they find your name. Like, there's a directory of coaches in our area. So a lot of times I receive an email. But I would say I'm on Facebook the most. I know Instagram's the new up and coming, but I just can't seem to navigate Instagram the way I like Facebook. I guess I'm old school. Also email. I don't know if you'll have that information up later, but
Yeah.
Either way, Messenger. A lot of my clients, it comes through Facebook Messenger, word of mouth at the gym, because I go to a variety of gyms around here. And then again, the emails from the directory.
All right. Awesome. Which gyms are you currently coaching out of?
Well, I took a break because I went back to school. I seem to love to learn, right? And I just, it was a lot. It was full time. It's for to be an addiction counselor, because my degree is in research, psychology research on recovery through fitness, right? Recovery from substance use. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe I should be an actual like counselor. So that was harder than the PhD. Back to my point. I went on the associate's level here at San Mateo College, and this semester was harder than any of the PhD quarters that I had done at Sofia. No offense to Sofia, but like it's a lot. It's anyone wants to go, it is free if you're a San Mateo County resident. But so all that's to say that I put all my I dropped everything when the semester started. So now I just started talking to Andreas from Apex, Andreas and Daniel. You've met them before. You've been to Apex. So yes. We just chatted yesterday. So I'm going to get back into the fold there. I was teaching at Fit Lab, which is now HY5 Performance in Lafayette. I also coached there for a bit, and then now they're about an hour away because I moved back to the Bay. I was traveling at the time in my camper van. I could kind of coach anywhere. And then Obstacle Courses, that's like the first gym I met there in Redwood City when I moved to California. So they're always my family. We're gonna do like a hybrid event probably in February. Sort of. They're not a High Rocks affiliate. They're a DEKA affiliate. But we're going to do DEKA moves and then throw in some other things, like maybe some monkey bars, rings, and, kind of make our own little jam. So those are my main people. And SNTC, they're too far. So like, the Bay, like you could be 10 miles away, but that's about an hour. So I dip into all my gyms as much as I can, but the main ones are Apex and Obstacle Course.
Cool. Shout out to those gyms. Yeah, they're all amazing, facilities, and have great coaching staff. Obviously, Tara's worked with them. I've competed at Apex Velocity. And then Obstacle Course, I've yet to actually compete there, but I've obviously met the gym owners there, Candace and team. I think at one point, Candace and I talked about me bringing some Spartan, stuff there before I moved. It didn't happen, unfortunately, but at some point I would love to collaborate, maybe with you there and Candace and team. And then same High Five, or is it called High Five or HY5?
Probably right. I was just saying it as it reads, but yeah, it probably is supposed to be High Five.
Okay, Fit Lab Lafayette is now High Five. Yeah. I think Lafayette. Or anyway, yeah, at some point they were asking me to get involved in the coaching there too. And yeah, being a Bay Area coach is pretty awesome. You have a lot of options. So those personal trainers out there that are listening to this podcast, the coaches that are, doing CrossFit, obviously, Tara's also CrossFit level 1, right?
I didn't renew it. That's why I didn't tell you about it. I was.
Okay, no worries. You can always renew it. But anyway, if you're a CrossFit coach, or if you're a personal trainer, or any kind of boot camp group fitness instructor, you could become a Spartan coach if you like Spartan racing, obstacle course racing, or if you want to do more of the hybrid stuff, DEKA, High Rocks, they have their certifications. So don't be afraid to get out there, guys, and expand your mind, expand your clientele. Like definitely get out there, connect with Tara, connect with me, anyone in the Spartan DEKA community, especially that we have a big family essentially, and no matter where we are, we're always going to see each other at race venues or events, so it's a lot of fun. Tara, I want to dig into you mentioned there, just this last question I brought up, your book, right? You kind of hinted at it. You wrote a book called Sober Up Spartan Style, which I remember early on, I think you showed me I don't know if it was a draft or something. We were talking about it, and then you were on the cusp of, publishing it, right, and getting it officially on your website. So it's called Sober Up Spartan Style Recovery Through Racing. And so that's primarily why I wanted to bring Tara on this podcast, because we've been trying to connect for some time now. I think it's been over 6 months or so. And so finally I have her on here, and I wanted her to share, her story, like what led to, writing that book, and I know part of it has to do with your PhD, part of it has to do with your experience through Spartan, experience through DEKA, and then sharing a lot of the stories, a lot of that athlete stories, right? Like, how are they using Spartan? How are they using DEKA to recover through challenges with substance use or substance abuse, and a little bit of touching on mental health and things like that. Could you share with the audience, like, what is your book about, and we'll go from there.
Sure. And I wish I had a copy. I packed everything up, but it looks like that. I probably was showing you the cover too, and the name. I was like going back and forth. I trust my friends. See, I couldn't do this alone. There's no way. A lot of friends helped me with it. Kindle audiobook now, or Audible. I'm sorry, Audible, and print copy as well, paperback. So, okay, COVID hit. We'll just start there. Went back to school, and I knew right away, I was like, well, I might as well use the rest of my post 9/11 education money to go back to school. So I had seen Sofia University way back when I lived in New York, and it said Transpersonal Psychology. I'm like, what's that? Like everybody else is like, what's that? So I wound up looking it up, and it was talking about the body, mind, soul, and, not labeling people with some sort of, like we were saying, depression or anxiety. It means to remove the mask. Like, who are you? Like, that's the real question, right? Other things are just labels and all that jazz. So I showed it to my dad, who was alive at the time. I'm like, I want to study this one day. And he's like, wow, it sounds, really interesting. We had a huge conversation about it. And who would have known? I wound up moving here in 2018. I had learned literally, my dad had cancer when I left, and no one told me that he did, because they thought I wouldn't. Well, I probably wouldn't have. My brother's like, she's never going to move if you tell her, don't say anything. So I get here, I get the job at the JCC in Palo Alto. And I'm going for a run. It was like one of my first or second days there. And I went down the street and I saw Sofia University, that same college I had showed my dad, not knowing he was sick, right? But I had showed it to him like the year before or something. So I was like, that's weird. So I wound up telling my dad about it, and I felt weird on the phone. Something wasn't right. Turned out they told me my dad was sick. So I wound up having to leave like a couple days into this job, went home, he passed. And the reason I'm saying all that is because I really think that he led me to this school. It still took me, that was 2018, took me until COVID to actually go to the school. I got a phone call when I was driving from a strange number, and I usually don't answer. And something told me to answer the phone. And it's like, hi, the lady's like, hi, this is Sofia University. Sorry it took so long to get back to you. And I was praying at the time in the car for my dad to help me, because I was struggling, with losing him. And I know I'm meant to do something. I don't know what it is. And I kind of was like crying out, like almost literally in my car, and this woman from Sofia called. That's how I got into that program. And the reason I knew what I wanted to study was because I had friends like Eddie Sanchez, Dave Lawrence, they're both in the book, Bryce Johnson, who had these really like difficult histories with drug use, alcohol use, homelessness, just like criminality, all these things. And they're like stellar human beings and like role models in the Spartan community. And now DEKA, and DEKA it was around, but I know COVID it was like just in the beginning, right during that time. So I didn't know much about it. But these guys are like on the podium, like all the time. Dave and Eddie and, Bryce brought his whole posse from Jericho Project. And I'm like, wow, like what a turnaround. So I knew right from the start, from my first class, I want to know how Spartan racing can help people in recovery. The men that I wrote about, there's 8 specific men that I interviewed, they mostly found it by chance. So my question was, why does it have to be by chance? Like, why is there this healing agent out there? There's many healing modalities. Could be yoga, could be friendships, could be AA, NA, could be anything. But for these men, it was Spartan, right? But why was it so hard to find? Eddie found it on a Facebook ad randomly. Dave's wife was doing one and invited him. Like, why does it take just random circumstance for someone to find such a great, powerful sport that can heal and unite people? And not everyone has to agree with me. That's why it's a big world. We all have different viewpoints, but this is what I saw. So Darren started the PhD research. So I interviewed the 8 men and got their perspective on it. And then I launched a survey on Facebook, just the general public, just anyone. And I purposely did not put it on any sober Spartan pages or anything, just the general Spartan page. Has Spartan changed and transformed your life? If so, how? And my other, and there was a variety of questions. And then the final question was, do you think it can help people in recovery? So, yeah, so most people said, not everyone, but most people said, yeah, by and large, it has helped them through divorce, cancer, stressful jobs, and domestic violence, and being obese or feeling bad about yourself, and depression, anxiety. And so not just substance use. So I graduate, right? And there's this dissertation that most people don't even know what that means. It sits in some little portal, right? My dissertation chair knows about it, and the committee knows, but nobody else knows. I think Erica, Kamina now is her last name, sent me a message. Did you write this? I don't know. She was Googling something and found it. Like, that's the only person in the entire universe that found the dissertation. So I knew in order to make an impact, and what impact I've made, I don't know, hopefully big enough. It needed to be in a book. It needs to be simple, take out all the data and all the jargon, the academic jargon, make it easy to read. It's very easy, short, quick. So that maybe someone could read it and pass it on to someone they know struggling from anything. Because what we talked about earlier, that connection piece with personal training, that's what Spartan does. That's what DEKA does. They connect you not only to who you are when you're out there, but to your friends and other people. You mentioned the Bay Area. You are all family to me. I moved here by myself. There is no one even remotely close related to me in this side of the country. They're all in New York. And I came here and was blessed with this family that runs deeper than blood. And it's through Spartan. And they don't pay me to say all this. I promise you, I don't get anything. That's from my heart. But hey, if you want to throw me some donations, Spartan, I'm cool. I'll say more. No. So, but yeah, it's transformed my life. So I just wrote the book so that somebody hurting one day maybe could pick it up and say, wow, maybe I'll hire this guy, Joe Bala. Maybe he'll teach me how to climb the monkey bars and climb a rope. And then you step out on the course and you realize, wow, I'm not alone. And we bond through struggle. That's what drugs do, right? You're bonding over some horrible stuff in a corner, smoking with someone, killing yourself. We're suffering too, but there's glory in our suffering. There's your body gets stronger, your mind sharpens. You realize, wow, I can climb that rope you're talking about that someone used to stare at and say, no way. Or the girl shaking on the monkey bars that I was training, she can do the monkey bars. So it's just a wonderful way to heal. And I think more people should know about it.
I love that. I think definitely, there's a lot of mediums now, like you mentioned earlier, you have it in different formats, Audible, Kindle, and then the paperback. I remember we talked about at some point, I don't know if you're still, on the same page as me, because I think we kind of talked back and forth about it, having you on a podcast where we would go back and forth in terms of talking about these things. How has Spartan, DEKA, and now Hyrox and everything else related to, fitness, mental health, substance abuse, all the things that involve what life is about, the struggles that we all go through. And, there's multiple columns, right? There's multiple rows. It's just going everywhere, right? And you could think of it as a complex, thread of things and, pathways that we can navigate life. But the one thing that we all share in common or can share in common is this movement, you know, and the movement being Spartan, movement being DEKA, movement being High Rocks, and things that give us purpose. I think we both are, you know, friends and colleagues, and have worked with Yancey Culp. You know, Yancey Culp is the co-creator of DEKA. You worked on the DEKA Roadshow team before I took it on, and then it was handed or transferred to you by Timmy Braun, right? And here, I think yeah, so Timmy is here in OC, right? I've yet to meet her in person, but I have communicated with her online. But now Frank of Fortitude Fitness has DEKA Roadshow now, after I passed it on to him, basically. So there's so many avenues for you know, people that are struggling, people that are trying to find their way. And I think on one of the original podcasts with Jared Cogswell, the other co-creator of DEKA, he and Yancey were talking about like things that spoke to me when I was listening to their podcast, when I was first getting involved with DEKA, like, what is this DEKA thing, you know? And you mentioned DEKA is in this book. And so Spartan, you talked about DEKA. For those that don't know, I would love for you to kind of expand on your view of DEKA and how you related it to what you wrote about in the book, you know, in incorporating Spartan and DEKA in rehab centers, you know, creating this vision of like, how can you support people in a healthy environment, give them purpose, give them something to train for, and continue this healthier path, this path over here being healthier versus the other path, which is like dark, you know, not the path that you want to be on, right? How can they go from dark to light, you know? And could you dig into like how you're tying in DEKA with what you envision?
Sure. Yeah. And that's a great way to describe it, from dark to light, because we all have energy. It's like, where do you put it? And I think a lot of people struggling with whether it's a depression or like drug use, which could involve depression as well, we're searching for something, and the energy is just going to a dark place. And Dave Lawrence in the book, I'll never forget, when I was interviewing him, and it's quoted in there somewhere, he said he had massive amount of energy when he became sober, because he spent all that energy searching for his next drug, his next drink, his next something. So he said, now I was sober and I had all this energy. He said he worked like 3 jobs and started working out, and like he just had to take that energy and put it somewhere else. And I think we demonize people like, you're bad, you do drugs, you're bad. And we punish them, isolate them, and make them worse. Now they're even in a darker place. So that purpose, you said, I think pulls people, well, we would hope it pulls people to the light, to take that energy and just redirect it, because we're all energetic beings, right? Without getting too philosophical about it, but got to put it somewhere, right?
Right.
So, and I'm glad you brought that up as well, because I did not include DEKA in my research. It was just Spartan. And at the time I got injured, and a knock on wood, I hope it never happens again, but I got a heel spur and I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't do Spartan racing. And I was like losing my mind. So thank God obstacle course was very close to my house, and I would just pop in and out. I started going every single day. I couldn't even hop. My foot hurt so bad for like 6 months. And I was like, well, I'll try DEKA. So I started doing DEKA more. My heel would still hurt even doing a DEKA strong. But anyway, that's how I sort of got more and more into the DEKA stuff. And actually, that might have been after I wrote the book. I don't even remember. Wow, my memory's like, once you hit 50, you're lucky you know where your shoes are in the morning. But either way, now you know how I got into DEKA. But the reason I added it to the book is because I started to, get to know Yancey more, and I started to see those same friends also gravitate towards DEKA. And then I saw the potential, like you mentioned earlier, of bringing that into rehab centers a little easier maybe than Spartan racing. And what I liked about it as well was that, you run a Spartan race, I would have a wave in the morning and your wave might be later. You might be at the coaching zone, and I might be lucky if I see you and say hi. And then after I'm done, you're gone. You're racing now and I can't find you. What I love about DEKA is that you show up, and especially if you're volunteering, you're there all day. You definitely get to see everyone, and I could be your judge. So I can follow you throughout and like connect with you even more, you know, and our friendship grows that way. So I think it creates like an intimacy among the friends and the athletes and the judges that you don't get with Spartan. Spartan has a lot of, you know, other things that it provides. So yeah, so I sort of added that in, and I did a few more interviews. I interviewed Timmy, Yancey, Robin, Lagat, and a few other people in there. Joe, of course, Joe DeSena. And I just sort of tied it in and sort of created like a visual, I guess, a roadmap in my head of how I could take the DEKA van one day, or like say what Frank does, the road shows, and bring them into local rehabs and just bring the equipment to them with the medals and the shirts and give them that feeling while they're in the rehab center, and then maybe help them become certified, give them like free certifications or something, and they can run classes in the rehab center so that when they come out, sort of like a bridge, I suppose, so that when they come out, they already know what this DEKA community is. So they don't have to go searching for it the way the guys in the book did. They just happen to come across Spartan, right? So I figured DEKA and Spartan, bring them into the rehab centers. It's just sort of like a segue. And volunteering is also healing. They don't have to, if you're not interested in DEKA or Spartan, you just volunteer and you still get that same connection.
Yeah.
So
100%. I love that. Yeah, I love volunteering, like segueing into that, like, you know, being a coach, being a age group athlete, and then a volunteer, they're like 3 different experiences, right? And then even just being a spectator too, like especially at a DEKA event, it's like an experience, you know. And I always love like being at the events and venues, and being able to like cheer people on, especially the friends that I've met and have you know, worked with and known over the years now. And inviting you, like, you know, you've helped volunteer at a few of my events when I was at CrossFit of Fremont doing DEKA there, and just, you know, the community, the connection piece is huge, and I can see, and we've talked about this, you know, outside of this podcast, but like getting this DEKA piece and somehow elements of Spartan into a rehab center, into these groups that need something. They need something outside of what the current solutions are, because I feel like, and I think we are on the same page, like there can be more. They can kind of elevate the experience for the people that need it, you know. And I love that you wrote this book. I love that you share, you know, interviewed all the stories of these athletes, and bringing to light, you know, what their journey has been, and you know, it continues to be daily. Every year I see them all over social media, just like their eyes are lighting up, and they're on a podium here, podium there, and they're like, it brings a lot of joy to my heart. And especially when I see, you know, friends like you on podiums, I'm like, okay, they're doing some amazing things. Like, I want to get up there, I want to share that same feeling. But, you know, I feel like my bigger purpose is to be more on the serving side, coaching, growing what I can grow in my community, and then building up the next gen of athletes. And the book especially, I think, is gonna, you know, reach a lot of people. And those that are listening, that are watching this, definitely check out Tara's book, support her, you know, support her mission, you know. We talked about this privately before. I don't know if we can mention it. You are working on a second book. Is there anything you can share with respect to that second book that you are able to share?
Sure. As you were talking, I was like, oh, maybe he'll write a book with me. So maybe that's a third book.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Yes.
All right. We put it out there.
All right. All right. We're manifesting it.
Okay. Did you say sign me up? Is that what you said?
Yes. I said sign me up.
That's book number 3. So two, a lot of people ask why I didn't include women in the first book. And it was because for the research, they want you to narrow it down to a specific population. And that was just a suggestion. Just pick all men 30 and older, at least 2 years of sobriety, like all these, that's how it works. So it wasn't like I wanted to leave women out. So my initial intent was to do the same format, interview 8 women this time. And I have interviews and just, I went back to school. Like I wind up, I'm a little squirrely sometimes with people who know me well. Like I'm like, oh, like squirrel, you know, I see something over there. I want to go try it. Or I want to drive across the country in a camper van. And so I've been known to do things like that. So put that on the back burner for a bit. So I had to dig up those interviews again. But then Yancey had sent me a clip. He's always saying that like fitness is the world's like greatest natural drug or something along those lines. I don't want to misquote him, but basically that what we're talking about, it's a natural healer and it pumps you up, right? The adrenaline and all that stuff. And I was going to say it's free, but it's not. If you're racing, you got to pay for something, but I guess you can go for a run for free. But you know, the concept is it's healthy and it makes you feel alive. So I want to listen to that again, because you said quite a few things, and see if that plays into the book somehow. But I really think I should honor women as I said I would the first time. So I'm here maybe 3 more books. The women, we're writing a book and whatever Yancey's message was. So 3 books.
Okay.
I better get started.
You have a lot of work to do. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll definitely work with you. I'll help you on that 3rd book for sure. I'm excited. We talked about before, like collaborating, and I'm sure there's so much that we can collaborate on. You know, you being in the Bay, I'm down here in SoCal. There's so much that we can definitely do together, and looking forward to it. I think that would be amazing, you know, and very very rewarding to, you know, do. Tara, I want to be respectful of your time. Let's see, what time did we start? I can't remember now. I'm losing track of time. So I
About
think
an hour.
okay. I want to chat a little bit about your world championship experience. Like you've done, you know, DEKA world champ, and then, you know, now your focus is on DEKA Ruck. And then, you know, you podium, like I think you podium every race. I feel like you're podium every time you get out there. You've even competed at Spartan World Championships, right? So DEKA World Championship, Spartan, and then you know, High Rocks is something you do. I think primarily you do DEKA more so than High Rocks. Yeah, so very similar to me. What is your take on, you know, someone, so I'm 47, and you said you're 21. So but anyone that I started late, you know, getting into, you know, leaving engineering, going into coaching, always wanting to do Spartan, even since when I first discovered it back in, I think it started in 2012 or officially. I can't remember the exact founding date of Spartan, but when I first started Spartan, I was like, okay, I was an engineer at the time, a father to a young baby girl. She's 20 years old now. That's how old I am. So, but anyone that's, you know, in our age range, what do you feel like if they want to get to a point where they're competing at a high level like you do, what does it take, you know, outside of having a lot of free time, having a lot of flexibility in your career, like what does it take? Like at the end of the day, if you gave the audience members that are watching or listening 3 pointers, like what would you focus in on or hone in on to get, you know, from entering age group, you know, to then getting on a podium, to then maybe pushing elite, you know, level, you know, competitions? Like what would you like advise, you know, anyone that's interested in pursuing that?
Okay, so first I'll address what you said about the free time, right? So prioritize your time, manage your time, right? We all have the same amount of time in a day. Some have more freedom than dogs are a little bit easier than kids. I can leave them in the car to go for a run, you do that with a young kid, that's probably not a great idea. So yeah, some of us has more flexibility, but I see some moms out there who just tear it up and work full time, and dad, same thing. So you said earlier, you feel like right now it's for service to others, and I respect you for that. I used to coach so much that if I did get on the podium, it was kind of by mistake. That's what I would tell my mom. I don't have time to train. And people are like, no way, you don't run. Like literally, I don't. I can't. When I moved here, I didn't know if I could survive the Bay Area, like financially. So I was working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. wherever I could find clients, driving. I bought a motorcycle so I can lane split to make it to my next client in time. Thank God I'm alive. So I had a hustle. So I had no time to train other than picking up weights after a class and putting them away. I just kind of got lucky, and maybe I had a base, right? So you have to prioritize your time. If you don't have a lot of time in the day, then you need to get up an hour earlier, get up an hour. That's number one. If you don't do that, and whatever you focus on grows. So if you want to focus on being a service to others, then that's where you'll lean. Your soul will lean that way, and maybe your performance will go down a bit. But if you're okay with that, if you're being honest with yourself and you're okay with that, that'll work for you. If you're not completely being honest, then maybe you need to carve out that extra hour and wake up first and serve you first, right? Like on the airplane, you put your mask on first, and then you help the kid next to you. So number one. Number two, other people. Find a coach, find a gym like Apex. You mentioned Fortitude Fitness. That's another gym I love. They're very far from me. I couldn't train there, but I'm competing there this weekend. They have a high rock sim Saturday and then a DEKA mile Sunday. So they have rocking events over there. It's a lot of fun. But find your community. Maybe it's one-on-one personal training with someone like you, or maybe it's like going to Fortitude or High Five or Opposite Course. You need other people to bring out that piece of you that you don't know is there, right? And then you find out when the events are, and then you start competing. That's two. And number three, find what you're good at. Because I could just say, okay, OCR, like all the ninja stuff. You've been on American Ninja. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't even thinking that. That's so cool. I completely respect and admire that, and sort of jealous, but I'm not good at that. And I don't care enough to try to be good at that, because it's just too much. It's too technical, too many grippy hand things, right? Yeah. So at least with Spartan raves, I could do the monkey bars and go run a quarter mile before I have to climb a wall or do something else, right? Mm-hmm. So if you find what you're good at and you really want to be on the podium, why do you think I turned to ruck? So if I'm being honest, the competition got so competitive in my age group, and I'm in the 50 to 55 now. I was 45 to 49, that I was by the skin of my teeth getting third place in the DEKA Fit. I threw a ruck on and everything changed. Now they have Masters ruck. Well, I threw a ruck on last year for the Worlds, and those girls slayed me because it was one big ruck. It wasn't divided by Masters and below. Oh, so those young girls are like breaking records, and like I thought I was feeling good too. This is 2020. I'm out there. I'm like, man, I was like, Mom, even when I was done, she's like, no, you looked great. I'm like, but these girls, like, they crushed me. So I knew that I probably better not do ruck again. Let me find where I could maybe place. And then they wound up dividing it to Masters, like, what is it, 45 and up and 44 and below or something like that. And I had a shot. So I think that's the strategy, right? Like, I like that feeling. I like being able to think I can be close to the podium, right? Like, and if it's not a good day, you're like, okay, at least if I'm second, I like to have that playroom. It feels good for me. Mm-hmm. Some people just want to accomplish it, and that's good for them. But if you're talking about podium, you have to find what you're good at, because the competition gets harder and harder I don't care how I'm getting older, and it's not getting any easier. You would think maybe when I hit 70, like, I'm kind of looking forward to that. If I'm still kicking, like, maybe I'm the only girl standing, but then it wouldn't be fun. So.
That's awesome. I tell my clients, I want to be that 97-year-old ninja, on the show. That's why I train the way I train, because I'm training for longevity, and even though I can't give all my energy towards pursuing a podium, even though I would love to, my priority right now is, serving others so that I can serve myself and serve my family, my daughter, my wife, and being there for them. It's tough, being a parent of, and then working full time or part-time, whatever it is you do, or maybe side hustle, it's tough, and shout out to the moms and dads out there that are, working those, 9 to 5s, and then they're still competing at a high level and being parents and, um, have fur babies and, the whole nine. I totally respect, what they're doing out there. It's amazing to see and watch, and it gives me hope. If I do decide to flip my switch and turn off my coach hat and serving hat and go, ham, and want to just go all out, I'm going to compete, and I want to compete at a high level. But yeah, those of you that are watching out there listening, Tara is an amazing athlete, but even a more amazing coach and trainer. So definitely follow her, reach out to her. So I wanted to wrap up this interview, because I'm sure we're gonna have you on again, because now we have to write a book. Number 3, we got it officially on here. So you're gonna hold me to it, and everyone else that watches and listens is gonna hold me to it now. For DEKA Ruck, I wanted to ask you about that a little bit. What is DEKA Ruck, for those that are interested in pursuing that? Like, what does that entail?
So it's the same as this DEKA Fit, Mile and Strong, primarily set up the same way. Women wear 20 pounds on their back and men wear 30. And it can't be like a plate carrier, at least as of now. Has to be like, most of them have the Go Rucks, and then Wild Gym, I think it's called, has like a new sort of sleek ruck that's out. But the difference would be, the slight difference when you do the DEKA Fit, when you're, run the 3 miles, that one, you instead of the ball, the medicine ball, actually it applies to all 3 of them. For the sit-ups, you use your ruck. But in the fit, right, you go back and you have to hit the top of the ruck to the target instead of taking the ball behind your head and throwing the ball up or touching the ball. So you're using your ruck for that. But you keep it on for the lunges, the burpees. You still use the burpee ram while it's on your back. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything different. It's all the box step overs with the ruck on. You keep it on except for when you do the sit-ups. And if I'm missing something, wow, I'll blame it on the 50 plus age group. And that's the hardest part, because I put my ruck on so tight that when I'm about to get to the sit-ups, like even at Worlds, it was like stuck on my arm. I couldn't get it off. I had it, because you want it snug, right, when you're running and stuff like that. Right. And there's some technique too, by the way you hold it, so it's not smacking you in the face when you're doing the sit-ups. But yeah, and they weigh it before and they weigh it after, and they put tape on it. And also, if you don't have your own and you go to an event, like the Fit that's run by Spartan, they'll give you like a loaner.
Got you.
If you don't have one.
Is that loaner the Titan 6 ruck, or is it a specific brand, or Go Ruck?
That's a great question. They change it up a lot, and they've done a couple experiments like, hey, try this bag, but I've had mine for so long, I don't even look over there anymore. Because I'm so comfortable with mine's a Go Ruck bag. So, and if you're a veteran, GovX gives a pretty decent discount for the Go Ruck.
There you go. Yeah. Love it.
But yeah, I'm not sure what they're using now.
All right. That's awesome. I definitely want to try one. I've seen, you do it, Robin Legat, and there's a few other OCR Spartan athletes I've seen kind of dig into it. There's so much that we can do. It's like limitless, right? And that's why I love Spartan DEKA so much, is there's a lot of options, with it. And those that are listening, watching, definitely reach out to Tara or I if you're interested in learning more about Spartan and DEKA or anything related to it. We'll definitely help you out. Or if you want to, work with us, we can definitely do that. You're not coaching actively right now, though, right?
I am now. I'm back in the game. School was over mid-December.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a free agent now.
There you go.
Apex isn't listening. But I just want to throw in with the ruck. I know you mentioned Mark Jones earlier. He broke the Guinness Book of World Records. Did you hear with a 40 pound?
Oh wow, yeah. I was watching the live feed, and throughout the day. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, he's going to do another world record breaking thing. I won't. He was on another podcast and he kind of alluded to it. So we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, no way. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. We should do I'm thinking now that you mentioned that, like, you should get you, Bryce Johnson, Mark, and anyone else that's doing ruck on a roundtable podcast to
That would
talk
be
about.
fun.
That would be fun. I think I'm gonna organize that and make it happen if you guys are open to it.
Let's do it.
I promised Bryce, I promised Mark Jones, and I'm gonna promise you I'm gonna do something ruck related. I just have been so busy serving others, coaching, and trying to build up my business down here where I moved, that I haven't yet even got my own ruck. So I gotta invest in one. So yeah, I'll make sure to get it very soon. It's now January, so I'm gonna set a goal for my 2026. Coach Joe has to do some kind of ruck or DEKA ruck or anything related to that. With that said, Tara, I want to wrap up this episode. Are you ready for some quick fire questions for the audience?
Bring it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you 5 quick questions. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. And so I would hope you do the same. You don't have to answer with a full sentence, just quick fire answer. Okay. So I'll throw out a question and you just answer whatever comes off top of your head. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna count you down for 3 seconds, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, 3, 2, 1. What event are you gonna take on next?
A High Rocks Phoenix.
Okay, awesome. What goal have you set for yourself in 2026?
To get 3 first places at the DEKA World Championships.
Love it. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna definitely watch that. What is your current go-to breakfast item? I think I might have asked you that. Let me take that back. What is the first thing you do when you wake up to get your day going?
Hug little Sparta.
Ah, love that. Adorable. She is so adorable. Okay. Is she feisty still, by the way? She was always feisty. Okay. If you've never met Tara's dogs, they're amazing. You'll see them at the events wherever she goes. So definitely come say hi to them.
All right,
Let's
next.
see. Are you gonna bring him on the screen?
Yeah, just Sparta with her sweater. She doesn't look feisty.
Oh.
She has a nice
Oh, look
sweater.
hey, Sparta. Hello.
All right. She's my moral support. What's the next
There you
question?
go. There you go. So I asked you 3. Number 4. What's Sparta's favorite food item, or what does she like to eat?
Chicken jerky, Blue Moon, I think it's called.
Oh my goodness.
And peanut butter.
And peanut butter.
Yep.
I love that. Let's see. Number 5. Last question. You ready?
Mhm.
If you had, and this one doesn't have to be short answer now. If you had to share, what do you want to leave as your legacy behind for anyone that has learned or met Tara, or maybe heard about Tara? What is that one legacy thing you want to leave behind?
That's a good question. Now, is that different from if I passed away, like what people would say about me? Because I just was talking to a friend about that the other day. I'm like, I wonder if how people describe, or do you mean like what gift I leave for the world, like to make it better?
Yeah, I would say maybe answer both if you're open to it. Yeah, maybe look at both and just give your, quick answer to both, or whichever one speaks to your heart more. Like which one would be more impactful for someone to take away from this podcast?
Okay, I'll go with the legacy thing. For that, I would just want to know that for me being here on Earth, that I helped people connect with other people and heal some of their pain and their loneliness or depression or anxiety or substance use or insecurity or fears or doubts, that they felt safe around me to talk to me and connect with me and trust me, and the community that we sort of are a part of here, that they feel safe there, that they can be the best versions of themselves and maybe heal whatever hurting part of them that they have.
Mm,
Because I don't like seeing anyone hurt or in pain, because I think there's a remedy there, and that's our response. We all have different ways to help with that remedy. We all have
Mhm.
different gifts. Yours to serve others, and you're a good listener. You have a lot of good qualities, and I think I would want people to feel safe around me.
mm.
They can
That's
be,
beautiful.
yeah,
That's
and
beautiful.
and kick some butt and get on the podium, because I pump them up. I want to pump people up too.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I
Mhm.
appreciate it, Tara. So Tara, to share with the audience, you mentioned earlier they can reach out to you on your website. What is your website again?
It's just my name, tarapipia.com.
Okay, and then your Instagram is
It's Spartan DEKA Dog.
love that one. Is that named after Sparta, your pup, or is it
No, the race. So Spartan,
uh-huh?
like the word, like Spartan race, Spartan and DEKA, and then dog for the two of them.
Okay. All
But
right.
her name is Sparta. Yes.
Yeah. Love that. And then you mentioned Facebook, so they can search you up on Facebook.
Mhm.
I'm no longer on Facebook because I feel like I graduated from Facebook, but
I
I am on
didn't.
I'm on LinkedIn though. So you
Okay.
should get on LinkedIn. Definitely get on there. I think we're connected
I'm
on
on
there,
LinkedIn.
maybe. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if we're connected on there, but there's a big mission I'm trying to create on there. I started it earlier this year, and I have to get or last year trying to get back on there. I think we did connect on there. Yeah.
Did.
So
We did.
anyone that's listening, find Tara on LinkedIn as well. Not sure if you're too as active on there. So I'm saying so. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely give Tara a follow on Instagram, connect with her on Facebook or LinkedIn if you guys are not on Facebook or Instagram. Her website again. I'll include all that in the show notes. This will be up very, very soon. So appreciate you, Tara, for hopping on. We'll get you back at some point again when we're both free. Hope it's not 6 to 8 months or
No.
so. But yeah, we're gonna get going on that book number 3 for you. And I'm excited. I appreciate you being on here, Tara. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Stop. Click.